All right, y'all tell me when you're ready.
Go.
Everybody?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. My name is Wyatt Martin. I'm an assistant chief with the Houston Police Department. We're out here today off of Cullen Boulevard in the southeast part of Houston. Just nearby over here in the 4300 block of Alconbury, there has been an incident in which the suspect at the end of a pursuit is deceased of what we believe to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Approximately 4:45 this afternoon, Dickinson PD got a report of a bank robbery down on Interstate 45 in the Dickinson area. Shortly thereafter, League City PD and other law enforcement resources located the suspect and a pursuit was begun. They followed the suspect upwards north on 45 towards Houston. Close to 45 in Belfort, Houston Police Department officers got involved in the pursuit. 2 units from our Southeast Patrol Division became involved to assist. They followed the suspect who at about 20 minutes after 5 was involved in a traffic accident, a single vehicle traffic accident where he ran into two vehicles, another vehicle and a fixed object. Suspect's vehicle became damaged. He had a flat tire, but he continued to flee from officers at that time. Shortly thereafter, he was involved in an accident with a League City PD police vehicle. The League City officer received minor injuries, but they are not life-threatening, believed to be very minor. He was just treated and released, so he is okay. Officers continued to follow the suspect down Cullen Boulevard to the north to the intersection of Cullen and a street called Alconbury. The suspect turned on Alconbury, which is actually a dead-end street. He got to the end of the dead-end street and was cornered there by responding units, both League City Police and Houston Police at that time. The suspect exited his vehicle with a firearm. At this time, at least one HPD officer discharged his weapon at least once. We do not know if the officer struck the suspect or not. We do know that he discharged his weapon at least once. But at about that time, the suspect appears, by looking at camera footage, to have placed his firearm to his own head and discharged it, and is deceased of what we believe to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Obviously, it's very tragic when anyone loses their life. Our condolences go out to this gentleman's family, because no matter what he may or may not have been involved in, he's got a family who obviously cared about him, and we offer our condolences to them. So, and we'll take any questions.
Could you repeat the last
little bit?
Said,
yeah,
because of the plane.
Close to Hobby Airport, got some
Right.
airplanes. We obviously, what I was saying is that we obviously send our condolences out to this gentleman's family, regardless of what he may or may not have been involved in. He obviously has a family who cares about him, and we reach out to them and wish them whatever kind of peace and closure they can have. So we'll take any questions at this time.
So he had 2 accidents before he ended up over here?
Correct. One in which his vehicle was damaged and got a flat tire, and then he continued to flee, and at one point did strike a League City police vehicle. That officer, like I said, received minor injuries, but was not seriously hurt.
Do you know how long the chase lasted?
From the time Houston police officers got involved, it was approximately 15 minutes until it ended. Prior to that, I do not know exactly how long it was. It was shortly after the 4:45 when the bank robbery occurred that the suspect was located by police. So from about 4:50 or so all the way until approximately 5:30 at the time when the pursuit ended.
Any idea how the family found out the way that they did? Obviously, they didn't even, when they showed up to the scene, they didn't even know he was dead.
Right. I do not know. Obviously the vehicle itself is exposed. Vehicles have license plates. Someone may have seen it. They may have even seen it, seen a picture of the vehicle and recognized it. I don't know exactly how they became aware. Obviously they were very upset when they came to the scene. We try to be as understanding as we can in those circumstances.
What was the fixed object he struck?
I do not know exactly, but I do know there was at least reported to us that a power pole may have been damaged. So whether it was power lines actually, we'll let the airplane go. Whether power lines were actually down, I do not know. We did have a report at one point that he had knocked over a power pole. We notified Centerpoint of that possibility, and they were going to check that area to see if there was any damage.
Did he use a weapon in the bank robbery?
My understanding is that the report of the bank robbery was that he robbed the bank while wearing a mask. I don't know if he displayed the weapon or not, but he had a mask, and I believe he indicated that he had a weapon.
Do you
But
know-
I don't have all those details.
Yeah, well, you probably don't know this. How did they know so soon that he was the bank robber?
My understanding is they had a good description of him, his vehicle that he fled in. They were able to locate him, and he jumped back in his vehicle with what they believed to be was the money bags and fled from them at that point.
Did you guys
So-
find the money bags here?
They did say that at some point during the pursuit he threw a bag out. Don't know if the bag was ever recovered. Dickinson and League City Police were looking for that. They will be putting any information on the robbery itself out through their public information people.
And what was the encounter like when they actually found the suspect's vehicle, found the suspect? How did that chase get? I mean, was it a traffic stop and then he ran, or how did it get going?
I don't know for certain. Again, it was League City PD at that point. They approached him, and at some point he fled. I don't know exactly how that originated, whether it was a traffic stop or whether he simply saw officers approaching and fled from them. But they approached him and he fled at some point.
And the League City Police, they knew about the bank robbery in Dickinson?
Correct. They had heard about the bank robbery and were out actively trying to locate the individual.
But we saw there were 4 crime scene units that pulled up. Why? It seems like a lot.
I'm not certain. Obviously, that's Houston Forensic Science Center that comes out on these scenes, and they handle all the forensic evidence gathering. I don't know if they had just additional resources because of location and what they wanted to do. I'm not certain why they brought 4 vehicles. So,
As far as a suspect, I know you can't release his identity, but do you know if he has any priors? Is there somebody that you guys know or anything that you can give us on this person?
I do not know. At the time I got here, the suspect was already deceased. We were awaiting Houston Forensic Science Center personnel to get here before we tried to gather any identification off of him. So I do not know.
Is the vehicle of the suspects?
I do not know if he owns it or not. Obviously, it was the one he was driving, but I don't know if he owns it or not.
Okay. Any more questions? Age? Do you have an age on the suspect?
Age, I do not. I'm sorry. He's
Did
been
the
covered
chase ever
since I got
reach
here.
high speeds, do you know?
During the time that we were involved, I don't know the top speed. Shortly into the pursuit, maybe about 10 minutes into the pursuit, is when he had the wreck. And at that point, he was on a flat tire, and I know at that point he was not reaching any excessive speeds. I was actually monitoring it on the radio when it came to an end.
And then, sorry, so because it ended here, does that mean that it's now y'all's crime scene, or is it both like a joint investigation? How does it go?
It'll be a joint investigation. Obviously, Dickinson PD will be handling the bank robbery itself. League City was involved in the pursuit. Their personnel were involved all the way to the end, so they will be involved with us. But since it was our officer that we know for certain discharged his weapon, and it did occur in the city of Houston, we will take lead on that part of the
And
investigation.
it's just those 3 agencies involved.
To the best of my knowledge, those 3. There may be at least one other. It just depends. I know when League City first came up on him, they may have had another agency with them, but League City and Dickinson were the only. There you go. Not here anymore. League City and Dickinson were the 2 that came to the scene to assist in the investigation.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Certainly. Thank y'all.